No travelers enjoy airport security. It can be quite stressful since you never know how long it will take or whether or not you'll be flagged for additional screening. But going through TSA Airport Security is an essential part of flying, which is why in today's video I'll cover easy things that you can do before even leaving home that are going to make the experience as smooth and stress-free as possible. The first thing any traveler can do to prepare for a trip through TSA would be to educate themselves on what you can and can't bring through airport security. The good news is that TSA makes this pretty easy for us. You can check the TSA website, but my favorite resource is actually the Ask TSA Facebook or Twitter page. You can send them a message with exactly what item you have. You could even send them the Amazon link to the product or a photo, and an agent will get back to you on if that item is allowed or not. I've used the messenger function on the Ask TSA Facebook page several times and have received an answer within 1 hour each time. The next thing that you can do before heading to the airport would be to check the TSA wait times. There are several free websites that allow you to do this. You can start by checking directly on the My TSA app. I personally like to use MyFlight or TSAWaitTimes.com, where you can not only get current wait times, but also see the average wait times by hour and by airport. If the wait times show nothing out of the ordinary, like 20 minutes or less, I usually won't adjust my plans. But sometimes you go and you look at the wait times and you see there are holdups of over an hour. In a case like this, it's just better to know before arriving to the airport so you can give yourself that extra time. Something that I recommend every traveler do before leaving home would be to print a paper copy of your flight ticket, assuming you have checked in online and have your flight ticket. If you check in online and are able to receive your flight ticket by email, or perhaps you have your ticket available to scan through the airline's app, then you may want to consider bringing a printed version with you to the airport anyway. You will be asked to show your flight ticket before you go through airport security. It's nice to have this paper copy in the case that your phone were to die, or perhaps you couldn't access the Wi-Fi and it was saved to your email or the airline's app, or even in a case where you have to put your phone through the scanner, but then you're perhaps asked by a security agent to see your ticket. By having a paper copy, you're able to keep your flight ticket on you, along with your ID, the entire time that you go through airport security, including when you walk through the scanner. And even in a case where you checked in online but maybe didn't print your flight ticket, you can usually receive a printed version of your boarding pass at the airport, either from the self-check-in kiosk or from the airline agent where you would go to drop a checked bag. This next one is absolutely essential. Know the TSA liquid limits and then organize your liquids in advance. The liquid limit, also referred to as the 311 liquids rule, indicates that each liquid must be in a 3.4 ounce container or smaller, which is about 100 milliliters, and that all containers must fit in 1 quart-size bag, and each passenger is allowed only 1 bag. I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can find the most up-to-date TSA liquid rules, as opposed to boring you with all of the details here. If it is your first time flying, or if you haven't flown in a while, definitely consider looking over these rules since they often change, and then there's some things that you may not consider to be a liquid, like gels and creams or cooked oatmeal or peanut butter, that are considered liquids and are subject to restrictions.
Oh no!
You will be asked to take your liquids out of your carry-on bag to go through the scanner separate from the rest of your belongings. So before you leave home, gather all of your liquids and just put them in any old bag so they are together. Then when you arrive at the airport, they provide you the TSA approved liquid bags for free, allowing you to just take one of their bags and then transfer everything from your own bag into their bag, as opposed to having to dig through your carry-on, find all your liquids, and put them together at the airport. A bonus tip here is to collect those free bags at the airport so you have a few backups, and then when you're on your trip home, you can actually pack them in the TSA approved bag before you even leave for the airport. I always have quite a few of these TSA approved bags just hanging around my apartment for my next trip. Similar to the last point about separating your liquids, you will want to do the same for your solid food items. You can bring food through airport security, and assuming the food is not a liquid or a liquidy item, there is not a set rule on how much food you are able to bring with you. However, you are often asked to take any food items out of your bag and put them through the scanner separately. So similar to with your liquids, if you just have them kept together in a bag as opposed to scattered among your carry-on, it's just going to make it an easier process for you. And while while you usually won't be asked to take these out for airport security, you will also want to make sure that any pill bottles, vitamins, travel-sized unmarked containers, as well as powders that are not in their original packaging are labeled. This next tip relates to actually packing your liquids and food items, as well as your electronics, knowing that all of these things are things you are going to need to take out of your carry-on suitcase and put through the scanner. These are all items that you're going to want to have easy access to. So if you're traveling with a carry-on rolling suitcase and a backpack, put all of these in an easy-to-access pocket of your backpack so you can quickly and easily pull them out and go through the scanner without having to unzip your rolling carry-on suitcase. Using packing cubes to pack your carry-on items is another way to make the airport security experience just a little bit more pleasant for both you and for the agent, especially if your bag is flagged for additional screening and it needs to be searched through. It's pretty common to have your bag undergo additional screening and be searched by an agent, but when this does happen, it's so much better if your suitcase is organized. And by having everything in separate packing cubes, it's going to be much easier for you to pack up at the end of the search as well. Also, by having stuff in a packing cube as opposed to just having your undies and your clothes out, you are able to keep everything hidden and tucked away in the cubes, which can provide an additional layer of privacy as your bag is being searched. You won't have all of your items out on display. I personally love my packing cubes, but you don't actually need them. You could even just use any old bag, something that's going to separate your items while keeping things together. It's going to be so helpful. But I do think packing cubes are amazing, and if you try them, I bet you will be addicted. Let us know down in the comments if you personally use packing cubes while you travel. Moving on from packing, if you take a moment to think about what you actually wear to the airport, it could really help you with the airport experience to help speed things up and also make it more comfortable. Know that you will likely need to take off your jacket and sometimes even a sweater to go through the security scanner. Many years ago, in my early travel days, I made the mistake of trying to leave the Delhi airport with a sweater, but I forgot to wear an undershirt underneath it. I was very sick with food poisoning and my brain was not working, but they kept asking me to take my sweater off, and it was quite an issue to get through the scanner. You probably are not silly enough to be in a situation like that, but do keep in mind that you may have to take your outer layer off, so whatever you are wearing underneath, be comfortable in it going through the scanner and make sure that it is appropriate. You will also want to limit the amount of metal that you have on you. Think about your watch or large jewelry items. You are allowed to wear these through security, but they do put you at a higher risk of triggering an alarm as you go through the body scanner, which means you will be subject to a pat-down. You will also want to consider the shoes that you choose to wear, since you may or may not end up having to take them off. Just follow along with what everyone else in front of you is doing. If they take them off, prepare to take yours off as well. In preparation for this, try to wear shoes that are easy to slip on and off. And if you do decide to wear sandals, please make sure that you wear socks. Everyone else is taking their shoes off and walking barefoot or in socks through this scanner. You do not want to be doing it. Ugh. I have absolutely no shame being that person that is going to wear socks with my sandals. It also helps to keep your feet warm once you are on the plane after takeoff and the cabin temperature drops. And a tip that could save you from having to remove your shoes or your sweater or your electronics from your backpack would be to register for TSA Pre-Check. The TSA Pre-Check program expedites traveler screening through TSA security checkpoints, and according to the TSA website, in April 2022, 94% of TSA Pre-Check passengers waited less than 5 minutes. Not bad. I'll link down to the application where you can see if you're eligible. It's available to US citizens as well as, but not just limited to, Canadians that have Nexus. Hopefully these tips have you feeling more confident about the next time that you head through TSA Airport Security. Safe travels, thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join us back here for more travel tips and hacks next week. Bye.